haven't made a video while walking my dog for a little while, and has become my tradition. It'll be another attempt at seeing things, well, seeing the transfer window through a glass half full perspective. Obviously, it's pretty impossible to see an absolute demolition run by our boys from Hale End, an absolute demolition of 115 Charges FC as anything but positive. Sorry. All I've been doing really is watching content and video about that since the day it happened. On an individual basis, I think Arteta completely outthought the old master. The student has surpassed the master. That was glorious. I think we've given other people a model on how to fill them in. There was a little bit where we allowed the game to transition to chess. It exposed, I think, some of... Hold on, let me let the dog loose. Some of our flaws this season. But, for the dog. But allowing ourselves to become a little bit too passive. But ultimately, what a performance. And when we switched, sorry, she's just making friends with babies. When we did switch from the chess match, and I think that, Arteta famously goes into detail, maybe not to the full Unai Emery tapes for every player level, but for a game like Man City, for top 6 opposition, we were very specifically prepared. And always the danger of that kind of micromanagement is that it can sort of kill the vibes. I'll tell you what, when they actually, an awesome goal, that Savinho spin. I mean, how they got in for tuppence halfpenny is a bit of a joke connected to the last video I made, the whole bullshit of them owning Girona and City. But anyway, what a turn, what a leap by the big robot. Great goal, hard to defend against. There is a moment, Willow goes to sleep, let's be real, but nonetheless a very, very good goal. Didn't really feel like they'd properly broken our lines, and yet there it was. And all of us had a sharp intake of breath. All of us had a moment of fear where we could have it taken from us what we deserved. Foden v Saka battle. Saka probably contributed more than Foden did. That debate has to be put to bed. Stop being silly. But anyway, Foden coughs the ball up. The party does what we don't do enough, which is take on the lower percentage, low XG chance and get us a slice of luck. I was saying to some of the coaches who coached my boys' team, when it was a chess match, even though Arteta was probably winning the chess match, we allowed City to be participants. We went to war in the second half with Rice flying at them, foot on the throat. Miles Lewis Skelly with a performance full of vim, vigour, violence, and what's the longer word of vituperation? I don't know. He's got some hate in his stomach. Who the fuck are you? I'm Miles fucking Lewis Skelly. That is who I am. What a goal! What a moment! I mean, a defining moment for him. One of the great moments of this stadium's, mid-length history. Mocking the, best striker in our league, scoring a goal as a left back. Glorious. That game, that night, the celebrations, will live long in the memory, even if they're, we hope they can be the trigger, the kickstart. But the reality is that we're relying on other teams to do something against Liverpool. Now, Amorim, who's having an absolute nightmare, did isolate some flaws in the Liverpool setup. They love to let Salah, who's having a messy, levelled season, to gamble. He doesn't have to defend. He doesn't have to come back. Trent can make up that gap on the ball with his amazing range of passing, but it does leave some space for the opposition to operate in. It worked for United. I hope that can be a model for other teams against Liverpool. We'll see. Oh dear. Talking of Messi, I mean, this is an observation a few people have made, but there's almost like a good-natured rivalry between our Hale End boys. You can imagine Ethan, the heir apparent star boy that everyone wants to see more of, sitting on the bench going, how is Miles usurping my position? How is Miles become the one? How is Miles suddenly the one in England contention? Can't have this. He came on as an afterthought with, 5 minutes or something left to play, and went fucking je suis Messi. Forget Mo having his Messi season. Every time he got the ball straight at the heart of Man City, causing terror, causing carnage. And that finish on one of the many podcasts, I think it was Arsenal Vision, possibly Clive, talking about the loveliness of his ball striking, that it seems to be in the stride of his run. Gorgeous. Goalie hardly moved. Didn't know what was happening till the ball hit the side netting. What a goal that was. And 5-1. What a scoreline. It started a chess match and we turned it into a fucking pub fight. Motherwell rules. Pint glass in your eye, pool cue up your arse, and a pool cue in your other eye. Except that in this case it was four pool cues and a pint glass. 4 pool cues and a pint glass. An absolute punishment beating. Put them in the corner and taught them a fucking lesson. Loved it. Now, Man City have responded by going out and spending about as much as the whole rest of the league put together, as is their want, in the transfer window. So what I think, is I expected us to get someone. I am disappointed we didn't. I love Ollie Watkins. He's a gooner. He seems like a lovely lad. He sent us all mental. Well, the England fans mental in the summer. My daughter's favourite player. I would have loved us to sign him, but you can see why Ato, Josh, et al. Ultimately decided there was a level we're not going to go to for a 29-year-old. It doesn't work. When I was looking at the top 23 most expensive transfers of all time, and they have a hit rate of somewhere in the region of 20%. I mean, and one of them is Cristiano Ronaldo going to Real Madrid, which shows how long ago that is. There's some absolute stinkers in there too. It's tough signing people. Lots of things can go wrong. Signing people who are 29 means that if it does go wrong, you're basically lumbered with them. And once bitten, twice shy. Arteta has experienced the problems of having an Ozil or an Aubameyang on your books. Being Aubameyang, one Arteta his only trophies so far, and yet still became a bit of an albatross. Looking at what other teams have done, I mentioned Man City. I mean, Man City went out and bought a couple of £30 million centre-backs. Kusanov played when we battered Lens 6-0 here. He gave away a penalty. He's clearly a good player. Lens bought him on the cheap and have taken their profit. Apparently we were in for Rice, the Brazilian centre-back, but £30 million was the price that they paid for each of those. It shows what the market is like for that. In order to get a striker, they went out and got Marmoush, who realistically, he's 25, I think 26 tomorrow, I checked. £60 million for a player whose breakout season was last season. Great season in the Bundesliga for Eintracht Frankfurt. with someone else leading the line. He sort of played off them. Great ball striker. Lets his shots go. I don't know if that's what we needed. I mean, what we need is someone to share the burden with Kai. So Marmoush was 60 million, probably not exactly what we need. Then you go, well, if you can't get exactly what you need, I think we've decided Gyökeres possibly isn't it. Sesko can hold the ball up. Leipzig have decided they're not going to sell him midway through the season, unsurprisingly. Isaac is unattainable. These PSR rules, I'm not sure if we really understand how they're going to be remodelled next season. Seems like Man City do, or they believe at least they can get away with it. I mean, maybe they don't know anything. Royal families always think the rules don't apply to them. Let's see. But so your thoughts are, if you can't get exactly what you want, if you decide that Ollie Watkins, despite possibly being the right sort of profile, isn't the right age range, playing profile but not the right age range, so what do you do next? You say, can we get a compromise? That's what I hope we would be able to do. A lot of my mates absolutely hate him. I don't know, I mean, I do know why. It's because he's like Kai Havertz, not a natural finisher, but Alvaro Morata goes to war for your team, wins headers in both boxes, runs channels. I thought he could be a decent loan option to share the minutes Havertz is getting far too many of. Sounds like we were too slow. Galatasaray were desperate to get him. He took that choice. I think that there's some, tax benefits playing in Turkey. I don't know if that's still the case. Donyelmon has gone to Villa, 20 million. That's a decent price point. Aguna returning. We decided against that. Again, he's sort of more of a utility striker, stroke wide man, rather than someone who's going to hold the ball up. I was talking about Eli, who really impressed me for Lens, not when we beat them 6-0, but when they beat us. And I've seen him play some excellent games for Montpellier on telly. I've been told he's a proper wrong-un, and it's his personality is the reason he's getting bombed out. Personality stroke crimes that are getting bombed out from club after club, which makes a lot of sense of why he was so cheap leaving Marseille. I think, has he gone to Frankfurt? He might be the Marmoush replacement. But yeah, I mean, Villa have got Asensio again, a winger, no option to buy, big loan fee. It's difficult. This is a difficult market to operate in. Man U the other day have shown this perfectly. Ruben Amorim doesn't want to play either Joshua Zirkzee or Højlund, both pretty expensive striker options on chunky wages on their books, and instead played Kobbie Mainoo up front. Have any team, if there was any easy loan options for a 9, for someone who could hold up the ball, well, Man U would have been big competitors with us for that player. Doesn't really look like there was anything obvious. I mean, yeah, I've pointed out Morata. There were some other strikers who've moved. I think there's one Greek name guy from Nuremberg who I don't know. It's a tough marketplace. Now, we're all Gooners have heard keep your powder dry far too many times. It was one of Gazidis' catchphrase virtually. It was always jam tomorrow. If we were to lose this league on goal difference or whatever, we'd be heartbroken. But say you do bring someone in, especially if it's a utility wide forward, are you going to bump Noneri down the line? The next man in? I don't think so. I absolutely think he has fought for and is deserving his place in the squad. Now, we're probably going to see more and more minutes. Martinelli and Trossard as central options. I feel like Trossard's played there a lot more than Martinelli. Martinelli more switches in with someone. The more they play there, the more time there is for wide players. I said it on the socials, it's a bit of copium, but I've quite liked the contribution of Kieran Tierney coming on as a wide player. Let's see. There's a lot of season left. We pray for the continued fitness of our players. but we continue to revel in the glory of that 5-1 win. This is a quite long video, so I'll whack this one up. Probably make another one about heading up to Newcastle tomorrow. Come on, the Arsenal.